What's up, YouTube? This is AfroJoeTCG, and today I want to talk to you guys about a new card that was just released in the Raging Tempest set, Lost Wind. Lost Wind is a normal trap card with the effect that states, target one face-up special summoned monster on the field, its effects are negated, and its original attack is cut in half. If a monster is special summoned from your opponent's extra deck while this card is in your graveyard, you can set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Now, you guys can probably notice that it's very similar to Breakthrough Skill, but there are some key differences between the two that sets it apart. First of all, Lost Wind not only negates the effect of the monster, but it also cuts its attack in half, making it easier for you to get rid of problem threats. The second difference is, unlike Breakthrough Skill, which has a line of text that states, negate it until the end of this turn, Lost Wind does not have that text anywhere within its card effect, which means both effects of Lost Wind are permanent. The third difference basically comes from how they both actually use their effects in the graveyard, but the exact way you can use them are completely different. Breakthrough Skill's line of text states that you can banish this card from your graveyard to target one face-up effect monster your opponent controls. That target has effects negated until the end of its turn, but of course you can't use it during the same turn you send it to a graveyard. Lost Wind, on the other hand, actually doesn't have that little line of text that says you can't use it when it's sent to the graveyard. You can actually use it the same turn it's sent to the graveyard. But the difference is you can only activate it when your opponent special summons a monster from your extra deck. Sorry, from their extra deck. And while it's in your graveyard, you can set it and then banish it when it leaves the field. So overall, they have a somewhat similar effect, but the way you do it is different. And because of how Lost Wind does its effects, you can actually abuse it in one of two noticeable ways. The first, and probably the most common way I can see it being abused, is with Ultimate Tzolk'in. Ultimate Tzolk'in is a level 12 synchro monster with the following effect. Summarized. If you set a spell or trap card, you can special summon one power tool synchro monster or one level 7 or 8 dragon type synchro monster from your extra deck. So basically what you can do is set Lost Wind, use Ultimate's effect to bring out a card like Crystal Wing, and then on your opponent's turn, you can activate Lost Wind again in order to negate an opponent's monster's effect. And if they were to try and bring out a card from your extra deck, you can then activate Lost Wind's grave effect to set it, and use Ultimate's effect to bring out another card like a second Crystal Wing or a Clear Wing or another level 8 dragon or 7 dragon type synchro monster. So basically it allows you to get some pretty nasty plays off of Ultimate, which is pretty cool in my opinion, seeing as Ultimate is one of my favorite cards. And finally, you can abuse Lost Wind with Imperial Iron Wall. Due to the last line of text saying you can set it as card, but banish it when it leaves the field. This is very similar to Play Spreader Zombies wording. So basically, if you use Lost Wind's grave effect, and let's just say you use its effect again to the opponent's monster, because Imperial Iron Wall specifically says you cannot, neither player can banish cards, Lost Wind will return to your graveyard, being able to be essentially, as long as Imperial Iron Wall is on the field, a recyclable card that can negate your opponent's monster effects. So just from what I said so far, you guys can probably tell it's a really good card, but I do want to mention there is one downside to this card. The downside that it has against Breakthrough Skill is Lost Wind can only do it on special summoned monsters. Breakthrough Skill can target any monster, and this is a very key thing because there are certain cards like Vanity's Fiend, Balsadina, and Majesty's Fiend that are relatively seen pretty often in the sideboard, or in some cases even in the main board, and you will not be able to negate these with Lost Wind. So if your deck is very weak to these cards, you might want to think of a different option if you don't already have an out to these three cards. But outside of that, I definitely think it's a card worth picking up. If you were to go out, I would definitely say pick up a playset, mainly because this card is only a rare, which means it's relatively easy to pull and very cheap to grab. And that concludes my card discussion video. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and comment in the comment section below what you guys think about the card Lost Wind, or if there's any other cards you guys want me to review in the future. Once again, this is AfroJoeTCG, and I'll see you guys next time.